Okay,
Hey,
so hopefully the connection is better, but
yeah, let's try. Are you with a laptop? Or
yeah, I'm using Jens's laptop and here's like a hotel with weird wallpaper.
it looks very nice, actually. It looks super nice, the
Yeah,
wallpaper.
yeah, actually they chose this place for filming and we were doing it. Oh, that's why I was a bit, yeah, not available at first in the meeting because they were still doing some filming stuff. Anyways, but it's done,
Cool.
so it's really good.
Okay, I'm gonna close all of this shit because I'm super, I'm quite sensitive right now, just so you know. So I need to take away a lot of noise. Like all these tabs, they need to go away.
Yeah,
And then just open again. And they open all of them, of course. I try to close Google Chrome because there are so many tabs open, and I just want to not, I cannot avoid seeing them. And so I close it and reopen it again. And of course, the tabs that appear, that's the history.
yeah,
So didn't work my tactic. Okay, get away this. Okay, now I'm the hybrid dog. Um, so an app update. Can you also help me to take some notes in the document?
I'll try, but yeah, I'll try.
So the by Wednesday this should be finished. Thursday I have I mean yeah, in a way by Wednesday this should be finished, like whatever is it. Because on Thursday already we have the general rehearsal. Also there's an interview, and on Friday already is the show. So by Wednesday it must be clean, completely clean. Um, I actually want, yeah, no, it should be like that. Like today is Wednesday. I mean, I'm talking about the next Wednesday, no? Yeah. Thanks.
Of course. We have to do it
Uh,
now.
let's go shoot. The fuck is this? What is that YouTube link?
That's from an old one. I'll just delete it. It's one of your 360, but that's already somewhere that was in the to do, so it's fine. We didn't lose
Okay.
anything. And that was a note
Um,
that I wrote.
okay, so wait, let's just catch up and so it has to be finished. So this finished by yeah, finish as completely finished, finito. I don't know. By Sunday, I want the structure. It must be finished the structure on Sunday. Then I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to just rehearse the
Yeah.
structure.
Oh, so
Uh,
annoying.
so that gives us Wednesday, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado. It gives 4 days. Um, that depends how you see it. Yeah, okay. So practical terms, it gives 4 days. Wait, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. No, 5 days, including today. Um, practical speaking. And um, wait, what's gonna do something? Okay. Um, but how to start with from this? No, let's maybe just go to the. I'm gonna check your annotations fast.
Hmm.
You do the annotations of the ones that we agree. You didn't check yet the other video, you know?
The latest one.
Yeah.
So I just watched before the other meeting.
Like, okay. Then okay, I will read it. Yeah. Yeah. Just stick down. Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna, yeah. Those. Yeah. Seated. Come on again. Yeah. Okay. Let's try this. Let's sit down. ChatGPT. Back. Boom. I guess. Meditation of star. Okay. Cool. You're there? Okay.
Set.
Uh,
Okay. Yep.
uh, one question. What would you put some notes in the first in the annotation of the first video?
Right.
Can you yeah, exactly? Can you expand a bit on this?
Right. Because I know that when you said about annotation, you had this idea of the, I forgot the specific term you used, but like the object and the more like the verb or the action.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I went through, obviously this doesn't really follow what you said, although you can categorize them. So I thought like, okay, maybe I should take once more, just go once more again to categorize into what you said, but I didn't do it. And instead, I just wrote the notes that what made sense to me. And so there's like one, um, so the first one is like kind of, I don't know, moment is the right word, or more like it's not impulse, how to say, like something with short duration that just happens in a point in time in the time lapse. So it could take 1 minute, but in time lapse, it's just, it's just one moment. Like for example, like you're jotting something on the whiteboard or what else? You get something from the desk
I
in the
lost.
back.
I lost you. Maybe just put off the switch off the video and just
Yeah, let's see. So
wait. So can I lose you for a little bit? So you were trying to explain the duration,
so before the durational thing,
or yes,
there's something that doesn't take long time. So it's more like point in time, the action that happens like really short.
short,
Yeah. So that could be,
like a
like what?
so but you're mentioning in the sense of that you think could be, I mean, that could be expand. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, no, it's just about the annotation. It's nothing about judgmental thing that it's just observing and when I have to
Ah, so
annotate
you're trying to
something
put category.
because exactly because for example,
Yeah.
it's almost frustrating when I want to write about something like, oh, Jorge sat down on the table and then on the desk and then he started working on something. So I write something about it, but then at the very next moment you're doing something else, for example, right?
Yeah.
And then I come back to think, did it really make sense for annotation or not? Because what you wrote as annotation is more like durational things because you already know what is coming next. more or less. So you kind of like highlighted what was happening for the next couple of minutes, for example, in real life. So in time lapse, maybe it's over 10 seconds, but that's like some time, amount of time, which I know wrote as durational or duration, like when you were started to do some exercise, some movement practice that lasts for some time.
And then when you said activation versus continuation, what do you mean with that?
So this is something similar, but also like when you turn the lights on or turn the lights off, that's like something like in the moment, but also this lasts for like
You
this.
activate. I lost you a bit. Now I cannot
Yes.
hear, and I cannot hear you.
Yeah, I was not talking because it was lost. Um, so the
Ah,
activation is more like you do the action and this effect lasts some time.
so it's something that is stays, yeah, like an on, but the example is like a light on. One, even if it's
Yeah,
short, it stays there for a while.
yeah.
Yeah. Versus continuation. What do you mean, like the example of the movement?
Just a second. I will just switch to my hotspot. I don't know how much data I have, but let's see if that will do something. So just give me a second. Uh, oh no, I can't find it. Oh no, I found it. Join. So am I connected again or not? I'm not connected. Okay, I think I'm back.
Yeah, hear you. And
Yes. So what was it? Continuation? No, I don't know. Actually, I just wrote continuation, but it's it actually doesn't make sense. But it I wanted to like have a contrast from something that has an effect, like lights on off, like effect for some time versus something that doesn't only have the effect when you're doing. So you when you have the movements, that doesn't stay in the air, but when you're done with the movement, it's done. So I don't know what's the right
ah,
word for it.
yeah, yeah, okay. That's what you mean with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
it's you can really see like when you stop moving, it stops. When the
yeah.
lights are like on, they are yeah, okay. Uh, okay. And once versus repetition.
So this is
Yeah.
like specifically about when you're standing or sitting, because it is something that's obvious to me to annotate, and I almost want to automate this because, you know,
Yeah.
because this happens again and again and again. I
Yeah.
know it's not about it's if it's important to annotate or not, but that's something that is something, yeah, like a kind of atomic, or how do I say, like a granule, like grain of
No, but I think it
uh
makes sense.
yeah.
Like, because one of the things I think I need to work on, or that I want to start to work on, is like to be more conscious of the dynamic of the thing.
Mm,
So that's why, like, I don't know if, so for instance, like now I'm trying to always sort of record the time lapse, but also there is the normal recording. Or I don't know if
right.
you did that slow down sometimes in the time lapse. Did you do slow it down sometimes?
No, I would just go back in time and just see it again and again,
Okay.
like when I
Uh,
need it for annotation.
okay. Because maybe the next times, like, I don't know, uh, yeah, because it's so difficult because you're out of context
Mm,
to the time lapse. It just gives, I mean, in one hand, I think the time lapse is so useful because, for instance, in terms of dynamics, you can really completely follow when you the way how you note it. It can really help like to create dynamics. You can really see it in a time lapse of 1 hour, the dynamics. Yeah, because they pass, no. So when you mention like sitting or standing, you can see the big picture if there is richness without being chaotic. I don't know if that makes sense.
mm.
Um, um,
Yeah, well, so I also watched the last one for the 15th you did, and this I didn't
yeah,
annotate because I just didn't have time. Also, I didn't know that you need YouTube app to see it in 360. Like, you can scroll around on the phone. You cannot see it on the browser, and I didn't have the app downloaded, so I had, that took time. So that was last minute, and yeah, so I didn't have time to annotate, but also like I don't know if I'm really maybe it sounds a bit harsh, but if I'm invited to annotate it, because I think I mentioned this already in the last chat, but there's a lot of things happening, right?
no,
And it's also like visually it's quite intense because I mean intense and it's not in the sense that I mean especially the last one because you had the lights like moving headlights also in the space, right? Wasn't it? Or is it the other one?
no, there is the
Yeah,
there's
right.
a I'm moving head, yeah.
Yeah. So, the attention is kind of like mostly in the projection, but sometimes you're moving around and then also the lights are moving. So that's like a lot of things that you have to process as a viewer. And on top, so this is like spatial element that you don't know where to look at. And also time wise, it's time lapse. So it's really condensed and it's so many
Yeah.
things are happening. Although you are the only one who's activating. So it's kind of like, in a way, it's linear, like nothing, well, not many things are like happening in parallel, but this whole thing becomes like, I think I mentioned this last time, but do you want to make it, in a way like chaotic or like something people can't decipher as a dramaturgy? That was like a question. But then if I watch this, like I start to feel more like, to be honest, I get really frustrated that I can't understand. Like
No, it must
I,
be, yes.
yeah, it's like a bombardment, like bombarded with like so many things but still like it feels you can understand if you take time, right? If you watch this 1 hour video,
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
frontal video.
did you
Yeah.
try to watch parts of that 1 hour video?
No, this one I didn't watch yet.
Yeah, I mean, also it's difficult to expect that you watch 1 hour. It's actually one
Right.
hour and 20.
Mm,
So completely follow what you're saying. I think it's very, so maybe we can move from this and then go back to these questions.
right.
Like, what are the questions? Well, any questions? What kind of R shape is? So I was thinking somehow, like I was thinking this idea of like it's a concert somehow, meaning that yeah, it's like a concert, like when a pianist comes and just plays.
I see.
So it's a performance. So I think like this analogy of so it is a concert of pianist. Um, so I guess like this idea of like noise and information can serve here, like in a way, like to separate it, like in the typical sense how you think, I mean, how we understand of noise of something that is very chaotic, and say
Mm,
information something is understandable. Let's
mm,
say. Uh, so my intention. So I want to find a balance between these two things. It cannot be chaotic all the time. Um,
Right.
so that's something that is clear for me. It cannot be because I know there are many elements.
Mm.
Uh, um, wait.
So maybe like I know you have a lot of things to say, but I kind of try to like think about this question in a more like in a simple way. And like for the best practices and all these projects we've done, like we didn't really think about this question so much, but like when I think about a performance, someone's doing a performance, like the in a way the easiest topic or how to say the most approachable topic for that person is to tackle or like question about their identity in their performance. Not that saying that you have to talk about your identity in this performance, but like is there any element of your identity, which doesn't mean that you have to put your Colombian flag or Belgian flag in the performance or German flag or whatever. But like I just thought about this because that's something when I was doing the maestria in Bogota, that's almost everyone's working on or more or less related to their identity or like where they're coming from, where they're
Yeah.
surrounded with. So that's something like I was kind of vaguely thinking about today. And then so we have a lot of instruments like like technology in the performance. And it's nice that you said like pianist because it's more maybe more like an orchestra. You're like a conductor with a lot of full of technology. But then
So
more like a yeah.
there is I thought at some point. So wait, there are some things I have from. Uh, there are some things that are in my head. Uh, where to put this? Yeah. So today, 3, 1, 16, 17. Um, so one thing was bugging me. It's like I mean, it's connected to what you're saying. It's not intentionally there, but it's this thing that I feel that I'm fat. And so this is something that I have to address somehow because it would bother me somehow. So then it depends how I address that. Um, because it's there in my head. Um, so I mean, I'm just saying this because you start saying things with identity, for instance. This is something that
Right.
is really connected to with me, and it's something that it was when I finished yesterday. Then it's really there. So then is the question then how? I mean, do I want to address it? So anyway, this is just I guess I will overlap things that you're saying. So that's this thing there. Things that I know that I need to take to work on that uh, is the beginning of how to onboard the people.
Mm.
So I think today I will try something like, oh, I say hello when we present in front of people. This is something that I just thought I will just do it and record it and see what happens. Um, like the way now
Mm.
I just say like hello. I mean, basically, I think my idea would be just to say hello, thank you. I mean, that's what I'm saying, trying to decouple these two things. I think like if I think in shape, I think I want to do a performance. Like so far,
Right.
like so I want to do a performance where that's my way actually to share something with the audience. Yeah, let's put it here, keep it here. It's just to bring them yeah, the way, yeah, to share how I work. But then it's that's why this idea of the pianist who sits and play.
Mm.
Um, so, but then before of that, then I thought like then, so I just come, there is some kind of still some lighting, and then I just say hello, thank you for being here, and uh, yeah, I mean something similar how you see that I'm doing this when we're presenting.
Yeah.
Just something very simple. So I will try this today and see what happens also.
Mm.
Um, because in my head, I thought, um, of course, that will be very difficult to see in time lapse. So we have to think on that with before we
Mm.
is that the way who normally so far I did it, but there is not really in such a structure that I need to start like choreographing more concretely and I have not too much time. I need to start creating a structure where I can play with. So, for instance, like I will take things away. Wait, I'm saying different things at the same time. What I'm trying to say to you is that the way how I was approaching this in my improvisation is like thinking I need to have dynamic change between the harsh technology and human things. I
Yeah.
put remember I at some point I put cream in my face.
Mm.
Uh, um, I also put my clothes at some point. Like just I was trying to put this thing somewhere in, like trying to do sometimes something that not related at all with the technology, but it brings this humanity that somehow
Right.
you're meant. Um, uh, yeah, so there's some elements that I was using, like remember, like putting cream in my face, and because it's just dry. So
Yeah.
uh, I thought maybe the nail polish, but it might take too much time. Yeah, any so just strategies around this thing of to use more human things uh, to give contrast.
Right.
Um, so it is in my head. So it's good that you mentioned it because it is there. It is in my head. Like contrast between the human, yeah. So just the human being human, uh, and especially I guess not thinking too much in, let's say this is like in why I'm doing that. Like especially right now, like today, I guess I will try it. But if I think, for example, why do I put cream like at some point? I
Mm.
don't want to start thinking of that. It's just an element that I have and it's just dry here. And I need
Yeah.
to put cream in my. So instead of doing before, I just do it in the space. Right? Like as I will
Mm. Yeah.
with practice, like it's just not something special. It's just something that is normal, but it becomes part of the doing.
Mm.
This personal identity, beginning onboarding, contrast machine with human cream film for his clothes. Yeah, other thing that I saw also is that in the last performance that you saw, that was 1 hour and 24 minutes. Like
Mm.
the last one. It was
Yeah.
really long. So my idea actually was to my intention was to work mirroring the screen. I think I mentioned this to you. Like as so basically inviting the people to, that's kind of the warm up. Like, is when when the pianist is just do a little bit of this or whatever it needs before playing. Um, so I wanted to try to not set up anything. And that was the recording. And it took me like, I think like
Mm.
30, 40 minutes to set up because there's so many things that have to be ready.
I see.
Um, so today, what I want to try is the opposite. I want to set up everything uh, and see what happens. Um,
Mm.
because I mean, this element, this setting up is really, I think, is strong uh, in the content because basically that's big part of the content that I have is the setting up of these things are. situations or occasions are these I mentioned as elements that
Right.
are part of the content. It's exactly the same reason of putting the cream. It's not so much about the content of the cream, but it's just is the opportunity to break the space from the technology to the human. So setting up the space, I mean, the fact that I have to go and switch on the button on each speaker, they are at the two part of the side of the space. But there are so many things that maybe that then going back to this idea of that's what I think I want to that we start like mentioning this idea of noise and information because if it's everything, it just becomes too noisy. The audience doesn't
Right.
need to. I mean, then this noise that I'm trying to portray, because it's noise anyway, there are many things that they are unrelated. At some point, it's too much.
It is.
Also, practically speaking. So my intention today is, I yeah, originally was that I wanted to set up everything, but I think I will
Mm,
just keep. I think I will just keep the two speakers on and the computer on. I mean, I will just keep just like two elements that I have to switch on. Uh, for the rest, I will keep everything set up and ready and see what happens. Um,
but I feel like so that makes sense. But also like since we don't have much time, like I want to think like what do you want to do on the day of the showing? Like is it the practice do you want to do? And if that's the case, we can't do it for like 1 hour, right? So
no, so that was part of like we have this conversation today, like because I
yeah.
see like with the academy for the time, we are less than a minute, so maybe
So
we
yeah,
have to come
let's
back.
let's come back. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So
Uh,
what were you saying?
that so we have this conversation today about the practicalities of how it's gonna be.
Mm,
And so since so far, I see that I basically it seems that I need kind of like an hour, but everybody has like 10, 15 minutes is a lot. So I mentioned then the mine, I think I will if I manage to have it around 45 minutes, I'm happy I will be
mm,
happy.
yeah.
Um we'll see. Even could be less if the because the thing is, since I'm proposing something that it needs time to uh, dissolve.
Mm,
Uh, that's the way who I'm imagining. I'm imagining somehow that yes, it needs to be noisy but clear at the same time. So if it doesn't work, I think especially with the configuration of like this is a bit tricky. Like how much you use the setting of things. Yeah, this is for instance when I move when I shifting the image to point I was using is
the
like
projector.
the projector. Like I cannot reach the place to to it. Uh, it's not. I need to move basically to point to the projector. So that gives me a
Mm,
clear excuse for moving. Because I need to find what is the spot.
mm,
Uh, but this kind of things needs time to become something. Otherwise, it's just because there are some things that needs to be, I don't think understand, but it needs to be questioned. So if I do that in 10 seconds, the thing that I'm like the thing that's the thing, the problem that we have right now with the time lapse, that if I do that like in 10 seconds, uh,
mm,
it doesn't give the because it needs substance. It's not about understanding, but it must So I think it goes back to this. I mentioned it the last time of if I'm presenting something that is not completely correct, or there is something because I'm not dancing and also I'm not really using the control as it's supposed to be. So in
Mm,
terms of, I think I mentioned that in the last time when I put it, I think I put it in the notes. Uh, yeah, when the content is not appropriated, then in meaning that it's not dance, it's not using the control, then the process changed from focusing in uh, content to a different process that is more personal in each person, but it needs time. Uh, it needs time to. Um, but since I have different elements. I cannot do the same with all of them because there are different.
mm,
There are different ones. Like I like to use the VR headset as a infrared lamp. So there is this relation with the feet. Uh, I need to explore that. Um,
I see.
and there are many elements. So for instance, I think today I would, I don't know, I'm thinking to take away the board also.
Mm,
Uh, Although the board gives me a physical material excuse to, I mean, it's kind of like putting cream, you know, if you go to the
yeah,
board,
yeah.
it gives, it breaks it down. Um, so I don't know.
So, but something that you want to keep is what you say with about noise, like kind of this abundance of things. It's something you definitely want to keep in this performance.
But you know who the way I feel like maybe it would be useful if I find like the music that serve as analogy. Like maybe it would be good. I mean, and imagine this kind of like as a contemporary classic music. I don't know. What does it mean? Like the kind of like the cadence, how I feel is set in the practice. Normally in the practice, I think it happens often that we are more in a hyper mode,
Mm,
but that's not true. Like that change. We have many practices. But say like the flowing that I want, since there are so many elements. And for me, I'm working here in something that I think we can reuse and in Tallinn in terms of understanding that border between the noise of information. Like I put in one of the questions that I want to we need to work on that is like, what does the audience need to understand? Like, right? Like
yeah.
the audience, like you brought that into the conversation last time, and that was useful. Like, I mean, the audience doesn't have to understand everything, but there's something, I mean, meaning, yeah, you see what I mean? Like some
Yeah,
things
but
can
this
be,
so
yep,
that makes sense, but because you're already talking about this noise versus information or signal or whatever, like everything is centered around this now because
yeah,
what you're questioning about its audience understands or not is about is
right.
it noisy or not? Can they understand or not? But to me, what is more fundamental is like what does the audience get from the performance? Maybe that's one step backward. Like, what do they get from the performance? What do we want them to get from the performance?
Was we want to offer
Yeah.
the audience. Yes. Um,
And if that, to that question, if the answer is that this kind of, playing with noise versus signal or noise versus information, if that's the main thing, then we have to work on
Wait, give me a
noise versus.
second.
Yeah.
Wait, give me a second. So, hold this. Um, like in terms of going back to this idea of like shape, like when he's I think mostly I would like to be more info slash
Mm,
calm, so or info or understandable within abstractions. And there's limited. You see what I mean? Like
yeah,
I don't know you're that I'm writing. So
yeah.
mostly I want what I'm doing, it's more in that state of calmness, limited, yeah, when the light
Mm,
moves, it's just light, or like this kind of things, like not overlaying. And then
mm,
sometimes I use the noise as overlaying, and I'm kind of like doing a hyper thing.
mm,
Okay, sorry, it's just like in terms of shape, like this is I would like to aim for that. Uh,
yeah,
okay, then we can layers. Then we can go, and then we can negotiate within, because this is what I want. No? And I think and I think that's for me it's so important to have in this process, because it's difficult for me to question myself in that thing. I need to have you in this conversation, like to
yeah.
uh
So so let's
then
let's
I
let's
can be free from
just
then I can be free from it. Yeah, sorry.
let's step backwards and think about this question, because what you want to aim for is, it's not the content, it's not what you want to address, but it's a technique you want to
Right.
use in the show,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then what is the message, or what is something that you want to talk in the show? I mean, it could be, it can be, it is also valid to say that it's about this technique. It's really about, noise versus information. This thing is the message. This is something you want to, like, you know, put in the center of the show, then it's valid, of course. But I'm just asking this question because, to me, it was never questioned, and you already came with a reference. I watched, part of the video you sent me, the lecture. I mean, and I think that,
Could.
and then that's, I mean, I only watched the part that before he started showing the slides, but I think that that first part was like relevant to what you were saying. I
Yeah.
don't know if I understand correctly. But then, like, it's good that you have a reference, but then, like, so, like, but still, like, I don't understand why you want to work on this topic.
Like the problem that I have right now is like,
Mm,
I guess in a more internal level, because it
mm,
happens on a really fast speed.
mm.
I separate. I mean, this separation between noise, and especially in the way how we used to work with the practice, we
Yeah.
are very sensible. So we are quite shapeless between things that are material and things that are not material. Like, so that's why when I started reading of seeing these things, I thought like, oh wow, this is what we're doing. Like,
Mm,
but empirically, right? That's what we do.
mm,
But that's so when I speak here, then I'm taking here in a really drastic way this noise and information. This is actually is not in the way how this guy who writes about this. I will send you the text. It's just like it's I think it's like 4 pages.
okay.
Um, like the main thesis of this guy is that he's trying to decouple, and I found that interesting, that noise is not necessary chaos, but noise is just an opportunity for you to see things differently. So then it's from that conversation that it comes that when you propose noise, it allows, so then it's like when you propose noise, the content is not appropriate and it forces you to think not normally. So it shifts the focus from the for you to be worried about how good are things to
Mm,
more to a more deep uh, line of thought. So ideally, somehow, I would like to address that somehow, but make it, I guess, more simple. You see what I mean? Like to make it.
okay.
Um, But maybe
So
I don't know.
I kind of, yeah, I kind of get where it's going, but then instead of like trying to really understand what you're trying to do, what I would like, how to say, like, maybe like a remark I can make is that if that is the topic you want to talk about, then the practice is might, let's say it's not the good medium because you can't really control the noise. Maybe that's, but I mean, we actually both
It's
know
very
it
difficult.
already. Yeah, because
It's very complicated. Yeah.
exactly, it's another layer or it's another, dimension that we're going because, yeah, we can't control it. And actually, you said it because noise is not a chaos, and it's not a, how to say, like a stable system. No, it's not about being stable or not, because noise can be stable or whatever. So whatever it is, but the way we're doing practice or you're doing the practice is not actually generating noise in a way. It can be accidentally become noise
It
for the
happened. Yeah,
audience.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually more is in recognizing and allowing the noise to affect you, right? Like sometimes you allow the noise, like, okay, now I do, but now maybe not.
Yeah, but it really depends. I mean, it's improvisational and it's not
Yeah.
you can control. And because you cannot control yourself, and then also the audience is there, so there's another layer to it that is un even more uncontrollable, say. So, but talking about this, I think it's important to think about this because we have to kind of simplify it, because if we don't understand what we're doing, then the audience wouldn't understand what we're doing. So at least we need to have good picture of the, like, what do we want to tell? I mean, what is the message and how we do it? And if this intention, so it comes to the intention again, but if this intention is clear, I think people might get something, and the audience might get understand something.
But wouldn't be like, I mean, one of the things that I'm thinking is that it should be, for instance, like in this idea of onboarding that I put it here somewhere, like
Yeah,
onboarding.
yeah.
Um, um, I thought in different things. I thought like, oh, should I like mention anything what I did in past? Like, and I think I just like I want just to play music, be the pianist. I don't want to do the yeah. But I thought maybe one way could be that just maybe there is before I start playing. So I do the thing that as I mentioned, with the lights, kind of a normal thing, just like as I mentioned, with the
Mm,
follow me and breathing and then thank you, please take your place.
mm,
And then from there, before I start playing, I put like kind of two slides. I thought with just maybe two lines or three, like about something really clear that I want them at least to understand. Like that's something that I have in my head right now. But then I need to know what is that? Like somehow, I
mm.
guess you see what I mean? Like then before I start doing the whole thing, just like putting, yeah, just like showing uh, a, four phrases uh, and then
Yeah,
start.
yeah. I think
That
I
will be
know.
that's what will be my way to kind of to use this onboarding. And then what we have to see is because then it's really important because it's the only moment that I will have to talk to the audience basically. The previous one, the beginning, is just to gain their trust, basically, is to gain their trust. Just like let's breathe together and we are all in space and more like an embodiment. But that's not the performance. So the performance start like when if I start putting a message, that's the moment, the only moment, or I mean, in that idea of seeing so far, like that's the moment that I have to use words to tell them a clear intention of why I'm doing this. Um,
I mean, it can go both ways, right? It can be very effective, or it can be, how to say, not distracting, but mm, I mean, also, it conditions a lot the audience, let's say, because they will be aware what they have to be aware of. I mean, it can be good or bad. Um, but it has to be like, mm, but let's say, yeah, like first the question is that, as you said, we need to know what we want them to get. But I started to feel like it would be
Yeah.
like, because you're really like focusing on the practice you're going to do today, because obviously
Yeah.
you can only do like a few iterations now to have the structure. And I was thinking like, for example, what I did with the lecture with my cards, something like clearly defined, pick one card, talk about it for 3 minutes, like something like this, like to, can you have some kind of um like a rule that gives a structure, and just try it out
With
today.
elements, with those elements that I'm selecting.
Can be elements or something, like just try out something that, you know because right now you're kind of having pressure to make the structure, but
Yeah.
like how can we have the structure to emerge by practicing? So if we say
Okay.
like,
Yeah, that makes sense. How you how you propose on that?
so I mean, I'm just saying random thing, but for example, just take this card idea. So you make, I don't know, cards, or it can be, program. Maybe probably like you can find like a website where you can just randomly show a word or something. And then um well, first thing I thought about is like you make cards with, you know, um like elements, like what you have, like lights, projector, VR headset, all these elements, and then you pick one card randomly. It can be on the program or it can be physical card, but then if it's its projector, then you have to work on the projector for 3 minutes. I don't know. This is just, I'm just applying what I did to your performance, and I know that this is not gonna work
I didn't,
directly.
this is somehow, I mean, I guess I'm working a similar spirit
Mm,
when I did it with the chat GPT, like run with the random
right.
number.
Yeah, yeah,
But something that I didn't put was this, the timer. That's something that I didn't thought about actually.
yeah.
That could free things.
Yeah. I mean, just to have something like strict, rigid, and just follow it for 1 hour, or it can be 30 minutes, right? Doesn't have to
We'll
be.
see. Like I think today what I will try to see is that as I said, I will try to have everything ready. I mean, I
Mm,
will create then basically then I will stage still this effect that I want of the setting up. Like I still will have two speakers. It demands
yeah.
me to go here and to go here and to switch on the console light that it
Mm,
demands that will be so bright, and then I switch it off.
yeah.
So I'm kind of staging all the rest of the things that are allowed, they should be ready.
Yeah.
I still using this uh unveiling the black box, right? Like that was my intention with that. And anyway,
Mm,
like I also didn't mention that to you that so I at the end I'm using BMX
mm,
because then putting in sliders then also give me flexibility to not have to sit all the time.
mm,
Then I just have sliders. One slider is screen recording my mess, so then I
mm.
can put on
Sorry, it was dropping again.
what happened.
I don't know.
Um,
Anyways, so the connection is not good. But So you were saying about the your setup.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah, so how to end? Like I
How
don't know how
to
to end.
end? Hmm.
How to end? To end. I mean, the simple way was like just to, and you tell the people from the beginning that after certain time you hear a noise and it stops. No, but no, I think I don't want to do it in this way. I think I want to work in a performance if I can, but so I don't know how to end. Maybe I don't need to know. I mean, I
Hmm.
cannot solve it, but I think I'm
Hmm.
working out how to start. So I need to know
Yeah.
how to start organically.
Yeah.
Then I start playing with the cards. Let's call it card
Yeah.
um, system.
Yeah. And probably like
I will time that. I will,
you will do it anyways, but the card, quote unquote, it has to include the human elements too, right? Like the scream or clothes or something. And if I were you, I would add something kind of something funny that to challenge yourself. Like, I
something
don't know.
funny. Like
Yeah,
what? Say
like
something. Like
wall. So you have to use the
what? I have to use the
wall in the
wall.
space. Yeah.
Okay,
And it's like
that's not
it's like contact improvisation.
okay. That actually that's quite concrete. Yeah, the
Yeah.
wall. Why not? Let's just see what
Yeah.
happens on the walls.
Yeah.
It's a tricky. This is a tricky question. Like the system, how to select cards. I
Mm,
mean, yes, let's call it cards. It works as cards. That's why in when I put my elements in this hyper document, I think I was trying to I separate I make the categories between human and technology.
mm.
If you see there, um,
Where?
before it wasn't like that. Before it was just everything there.
Oh yeah.
Makeup. I don't have make. I don't think I will use makeup. But that's too much.
No?
Paint on the veils, more, uh, and also oh, I don't know. I mean, that could be. I have nail polish here that I use as image video photo of my body. So something that I have as a con or that I want to have as a constant is the VR.
Mm,
That because it is really demanding, like just technically to make it work
yeah.
because something happens always. Just as first, it just it so that could be a situation that can it's just really concrete that the VR could be in the center somehow. Like, or there is a
Mm,
constant to come back to
yeah.
do what I don't know, but the VR is there.
You see. I mean, something naive, just random thing is like if we could make this like roll a dice, pick a card system inside VR and somehow like this timekeeping also in VR could be funny because you always have to come back to VR to pick the next
Just
card or
yeah,
it's just
actually,
random idea.
yeah.
But yeah, something that kind of VR headset conditions something that you have to like, I don't know. I mean, it could be also like, the what's it called? Pomodoro technique. You know, this like, like for productivity, you work for 25
Yeah.
minutes and then you wait, like have a break for 5 minutes to just do the timer, right? So it could be like with the meditation idea, you can do it like, you have to work on the element for, I mean, you can't do it for 25 minutes, but like 3 minutes. And for 30 seconds or 1 minute, you have to do the meditation VR. I don't know. This is really random. It doesn't really make sense.
Um, but actually, wait. There is something there. Like, if could be. I mean, like, what if there's so many things that are like, wait. So, but if there is a constant, so if there is a constant, and VR is giving me something nice.
Mm.
Um, so every Pomodoro
Yeah.
lapse,
Yeah.
then I go back to the VR
To
to
meditate.
to meditate. And what that could be interesting somehow is that you can do that dramatically, incrementally. Like for
Yeah.
instance, people, I mean, just you do stuff and you just
Yeah.
use the VR, and then
Yeah.
just at some point you will, I mean, or then it's the trick how to show what you're watching, right?
Mm.
Because what I'm saying is like at the beginning, like if that would be more interesting if you don't show completely the VR thing.
Yeah.
So
But don't think too much about it. Just to have
yeah.
like I think it's important to have the structure and just try it out. I mean, that's the practice, right? And just try it out and then see if maybe this is necessary to, gradually show something, or actually it's not. It's already funny or
Okay. Can you would you like just write in your own words like then how
yeah.
so what is the score? Score of today.
Always pick one card. Well, actually, you need the onboarding. So you repeat this, and then after, let's say we have 40 minutes. So like after 8 elements, it's done. Okay. Okay, make a
And then
bullet
so
list.
this is what is tricky is the I start thinking in how to balance the how to make sure that I'm balancing the because
But
some elements are very physical, but some of them
right.
they're not so physical.
For
So what
example,
does so what does that mean then? Like
what's
um
non-physical element?
um wait, let me see my element here. Let's just set up. Connection, your or kind of the yeah, there are funny ones also like the okay, there is one that also the moving the chair could become something funny if you just like
Yeah,
in that chair with no reason. I
yeah,
mean,
and you have to do it for 4 minutes.
and then just yeah, and then you just come back to the VR, and then you're just kind of fucking up with the people. But in a, I mean, okay, this I like that. These elements like there should be elements like to relax to be funny.
Yeah, yeah,
Like the moving the chair, I like it. Moving the
yeah,
chair. And then wait, and yeah, for instance, like painting the nails
yeah.
or the makeup, those are not so there's not too much motion in that.
Hmm.
Um,
I think it's
yeah.
okay also. Yeah.
But then just if I have at this moment, say painting, so wait, let me just read. Can you go to the list of elements? If you type search list of elements, you'll find.
Right. Oh, yes,
Okay, you're
I'm
here,
there.
right? You see?
I'm there. Yeah.
Anonymous, your hamster. Yeah. Okay, then we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, the disconnections are not really happening. The fucking thing is connected. So it's good that the thing is. Wait, again. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. ocho, nueve, 10, 11, 12. Do we want to do this? Okay, just 12, 13. I have 13, and possibly I will have more actually,
Yeah.
elements.
Yeah.
Um, but what if, for instance, like, because I think I should use the moving heads, because I think it will be a pity if I don't use it. I think what do you think about it? Because if I put it random, I might not use it, you know. So
Right.
like so maybe there are some elements that I think I want to use because also they're challenging. Like the moving head is so demanding, it's so
Mm.
strong because yeah, it moves and it's light, so it's like a lot. Um,
Right.
but also this is very concrete, no, and it has motion. So
Yeah.
if it's just controlling and doing the light for 4 minutes, Pomodoro, next thing. Okay, safe for now. Like maybe I want to keep. Oh, wait. So I think like let me just like by feeling. I feel that the light. I feel like the light. Um, and maybe playing with the image, the position of the image.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, like now if I start, if I wait, let me just do this exercise. I will just highlight what I think somehow it means to me. Uh, no, this means to me. No. Uh, and to be honest, I'm using this.
Mm.
I'm kind of like I'm kind of decoupling these things. Like I'm leaving the movement phrases as a constant thing that I just jump sometimes
Mm.
to just do stuff. Um, um, just give me a second. Let me see if I'm using there. So, phase, no. No, I think this is like I think I want to use the moving heads. Um, I also thought to use them as a kind of to start. I want to try a way to start with this.
Mm.
Um, Basically, I just want to use so everything is dark. I go and play, put on in these two things. Everything is still is dark. I have my light here. I put the moving heads,
Mm.
so it moves, so it start creating the sound, but you cannot really see it because it's dark, but you
Mm.
can hear the robot.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just basically, because I have a light here, at a working light, then I just point at the light and then I just allow, but the light is off, no? So it's just the movement of the headlight without light. And everything is dark. But I have a light here.
Mm.
And then I point to the headlight and then so I guess I move I thinking is to move, uh, so the transition from the headlamp to the projection is like at some point I just point to the projection and then the light goes out, the projection's coming. That's something that I want to try as um but then so that's kind of like a beginning of thing.
Mm.
Uh but maybe we decouple that from I mean that's part of like the beginning somehow. That's uh or don't know.
That's like
Uh,
before talking, you mean?
no,
Onboarding?
that's
After onboarding?
but onboarding also like that, yeah, if I can, I don't want to talk as I mentioned if I manage.
Mm. No, because
Um
one way I thought how this could fit is you do the onboarding and then, like just give an example. So if you get this card, for example, moving headlights, then I would do this, and then you can start that if you want to start with moving headlights.
But when you mention, so you want to mention like the rules from the beginning, like
So I think that would make sense if we want to talk only at the first part, then how I would do it is I would imagine is like, talk about the rules you're following. And then so everyone's agree on this and you'd start doing this, right? And then this way end is kind of
okay,
becomes clear because we all know
what I'm
where
doing.
the end is. So you don't have you will end anyways if you set the time. Like if you say like
Wait,
after
this is gonna end like when
yeah
we jump shortly.
yeah okay, let's finish soon, but I will come back and
Uh,
let's finish soon. Okay. So I what I was saying, I already
the
forgot.
like, do you
Yeah,
mind?
onboarding.
How can we maybe just do this? Perhaps. Like so forget of the don't you don't have to record a video of my face. I mean, I have something already.
Okay.
Um, but maybe if you can just write this onboarding, like I guess we will have to adapt them, but just
Hmm.
write them how you will do it, like based on what you hear. And then,
Right.
yeah.
Based on what is this saying? Um, I'm just trying to think, is it an easier way to so that we don't have to go back and forth between the elements and it's okay. So wait, where are we at? Um,
I'll put it,
so this is the
I'll put here
Naoto score.
no
Yeah, I mean now
annotate.
I'm here. Um, so,
How to annotate what? No, no, this is not annotate. Um, uh, physical cards. Yeah, whatever that means is physical cards. I need to and just
yeah, I think it's better to like have physical cards, like and just just write down on a piece of paper and cut them and have cards. I think it visually, I think it's easy to understand.
but it will take more time also.
Something very
But it is
simple.
okay. Maybe could be just a piece of paper.
Exactly.
Like right.
Just something very simple. Um,
And and then I put a number. Okay. Okay. Okay.
so later on, today I'm going to perform. Eh, well, I don't know. What piece is it? I don't know, with simple rules. I prepare cards that
Okay, but
have,
maybe we don't have to do this like at live and just like do it and then like I use it, even if it's
yeah, but I'm gonna sleep now. So,
yeah, okay. But maybe just let me just see what to close the conversation now.
okay.
Okay, so practically speaking, I will record this in time lapse and also just a normal recording.
Yeah.
Please mind to watch the uh base you're watching in the time lapse, but use also the normal recording
Yeah,
sometimes.
so I was thinking like if you could do it, so what I propose is like 8 elements, 5 minutes per item. So it will be like less than 1 hour, right? I mean, I know that with onboarding and everything, it might be a little bit longer, but I'll try to
I think we'll
find,
keep 45 minutes. I'll try to keep
yeah,
it in 45 minutes.
yeah. So I'll try to like follow it. I might need to skip through, but I will prefer to see like frontal
Watch the normal.
video with, like non time lapse because I think this is already like time lapse thing is really difficult to follow,
A very
anyways.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'll try to check the one. I mean, with the frontal normal
Yeah,
speed, and
okay.
you know, I might skip
And
through, but I'll try to follow
no,
that
no, totally,
basically.
like totally, like, but I labs are to make sure like because you can just see like nothing happens, something happens, nothing happens. Maybe too long,
Right.
nothing happens. But it
Exactly.
has a huge picture of like you should see. Yeah, it just I think it's easy to have a feeling of did things change in time in a
Yeah.
kind of dynamic way. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially
Uh,
like, what would be the next iteration, just, to get the idea that how we can feed back to the next iteration and form the structure from this practice.
what do you mean? Like in relation to the time lapse, or what you were saying in relation to what?
No, like it's just so that I watch the normal speed and then get the sense of, is it 4 minutes per element enough or not? This kind of like practical things to think about what would be the rule for the next practice you would do, how we structure, what is how do we shape the score? How do we feedback to the score by watching video? That's something I
Oh
would
yeah.
think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like how this, like, yeah, basically to check is the method kind of working or not working.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. And then you, okay, so okay, that's yeah, have fun. That's good that you do that, and then I don't have a personal attachment to that. Then you literally have to say like, then so silly. Like I perform for 4 minutes, then then I use then I meditate for 5 minutes on VR to relax. Then I come back.
yeah.
Um, okay. All right. Then we see each other tomorrow. Two is the proposition. What's the proposition? What time was it?
Yeah, we could do at 2. Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it that way.
Let's aim for two.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks. I really like and I need you. I feel I need you in this process. Otherwise, I get lost
Yeah.
in personal things. Yeah. I need. Yes, it's useful. Cool. And I think that we can from here we can learn a lot from Tallinn because this is method,
Ljubljana.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, in how to interact with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks so much, and then I see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Have fun.
Yes. I'll see. Ciao, ciao.
Good job.